Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. It's been a long day. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council meeting. This is a regularly scheduled City Council meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, and the time is 5:30 p.m. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Motley.
Here.
Friedlieb.
Present.
Paulson.
Present.
Yondich.
Present.
Johnson.
Here.
Parenzelli. Here. Huffy.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Before we begin the full agenda here, we'd like to give you an update, the city staff, the city council, and the mayor. We'd like to give you a little update and a little synopsis, a real quick synopsis of what happened and the process moving forward with the devastating storm that we had a couple of days ago. First of all, once the storm began, we implemented our emergency disaster plan through our city administrator, the city council, and the staff, and the mayor, and was all hands on deck. Everybody that could come out, we did come out. We implemented the plan as outlined to try to mitigate the damage that was being incurred by the heavy rains. Under Minnesota Statute 1229, the city is authorized under the statute to issue a declaration of an emergency declaration for disaster relief, and that's exactly what we did. Under the statute, the mayor has authority to issue one for 3 days, and anything beyond that would be the governing body, which is the city council, would have to extend that. We determined that it had to be done immediately at a full council, so at 7:30 the following morning, actually on June 20th, at 7:30 in the morning, we had an emergency council meeting, which all councilors were present, and we passed a resolution declaring a local state of emergency. At 10 a.m. that same day, St. Louis County in the city of Virginia up in the Public Works Garage did exactly the same thing. They issued a state of emergency, and then they had a press conference after. Now, how does that affect the people in the city of Virginia? Our emergency declaration will piggyback on to the county's declaration. Now, communications have been disseminated by the council, by the mayor, by our staff, at our Facebook page and our website about those who experienced damage to their homes, property. There's a form that was created by our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis, for you as a resident, whether it's a residential property or business property, to visit the website or the Facebook page or call the City Hall at 218-748-7500. That's 218-748-7500. And fill out a form. What happened, the form is very simple. Please fill that out if you haven't done so already. Many of you have. And we'll figure out a raw number of what your losses may be. This is just a raw number, and the purpose of asking for this raw number of loss, the cost of the loss, is for us to be able to submit what we consider to be the minimum loss associated with the storm damage from businesses and from residents. We compile all this statistical data and send it to St. Louis County. St. Louis County submits a request for an emergency declaration to the state of Minnesota, the governor's office, Governor Walz. I did receive a call from Governor Walz, from Congressman Pete Stauber, from Edie Rukavina from the IRRB, from the Laurentian Chamber Authority, from local business, Komatsu as an example, asking what they can do to assist. Now, the process works this way. We compile our statistical data, we submit it to the county. The county collects all the data from our city and all the other communities surrounding in northeast Minnesota that suffered loss, both business and residential. They'll submit all those losses and numbers, raw numbers, to the state of Minnesota. Governor Walz indicated he would declare a state of emergency. And once he does that, there's access to state funds and state assistance moving forward. Now, once that gets done, we'll start that process of trying to recover some of the losses associated with infrastructure, those kind of things that the cities and the townships fall, repair of roads and streets and those kind of things. Once the state emergency declared by the governor, he will in turn request that President Joe Biden issue a declaration of emergency disaster resulting from floods in northeast Minnesota. If and when President Biden issues this declaration, then that accesses action by FEMA. So then at that particular time, assistance that come from FEMA both for residential properties, business properties, and municipalities and governing bodies to help repair and reimburse people for the disaster. And so on Friday, June 25th, we did do that. We submitted all our information for the damages done to the city of the property. And so all the residents that filled their forms out, we're doing the same thing. So if the president declares a disaster, FEMA would be dispatched here to assist. The city would apply for reimbursement of costs expended, such as personnel, materials, etc., and we would apply for repairs for any infrastructure that has been damaged to the storm. We must keep tracking these expenses, personnel time to the storm, and or cleanup in order to accomplish a correct reporting requirement. Community members, that's residential properties and commercial properties, would be able to go to www.disasterassistance.gov, and we'll be sending this out, www.disasterassistance.gov, to enter your personal information to apply directly for reimbursement. We will use our social media pages, our website, newspaper, and email addresses from our Google Forms that you all sent out to make residents aware if this comes to fruition. So you will be notified of this process. So it takes some time, but we're in the middle of accomplishing that goal and objective to help you recover some of your losses. Now, the St. Louis County Emergency Management is working with a company or with an organization called the Minnesota Volunteer Organizations Aiding in Disaster to assist homeowners with cleanup. Many homeowners have already called this local number and have already received assistance. They come from all over the United States and Minnesota. There has been a phone call number established for homeowners in St. Louis County to call this crisis line to get cleanup and request assistance. And that number is 218-288-2213. That is 218-288-2213. And this will be open through July the 5th. If needed, we can extend that. And it's the attached St. Louis County Volunteer Network program, and you can receive that on their website, and we'll add some additional information for all of you once we receive more information from the county. This crisis cleanup will connect residents with volunteers from local relief organizations, community groups, and faith communities who may be able to assist with flood cleanup and muck out, removing the muck out of your basement, whether it's sewage water or mud that came in into your home. All services are free, but service is not guaranteed due to the overwhelming need. So by filling out that form and calling this number, you can express to them your loss. There's been a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of understanding, and a lot of despair. And so those people who need the help, who don't have the means, don't have the help, don't have the family members, you need to call this number. They will prioritize their response to you. That's 218-288-2213. Now, these services can't help with social services like food, clothing, shelter, insurance, or other questions about FEMA registration. That comes later on for us. This is if you just need some help for cleanup. And there was a faith-based group already on Southside, a couple doors down from Counselor Paulson's house, assisting a homeowner in doing that very same thing. So volunteers work free of charge. They provide all the tools, equipment necessary to complete the work. And we'll be publishing social media assets and flyers at the blog called crisiscleanup.org, crisiscleanup.org by the end of the day, which has already been done. The City of Virginia will continue to pick up the storm damage items from properties through Wednesday, June 26th, through Wednesday, that's tomorrow, June 26th. And the cleanup is slower than originally anticipated because we're picking up more property from these residences and businesses that really, some of it really wasn't storm damaged property, so there's a lot more bulk. But we'll get there, we'll get there. We don't want any residents to place any storm damaged items. Please put them on the curb, not in the alley and not in the city garbage. Put it in front of your curb. And we've received calls, I'm sure the council has, I have, about, well, they haven't been down here yet. It's been 4 days. Please be patient. We will get there. We will remove those items for you. Make sure you put them on the curb. We will get to you. After June 26th, if someone still has storm damage materials, the crews won't be out picking them up on a regular basis. But if you do have more storm damage materials, we will also pick those up. But you need to call our Public Works Department to schedule the pickup, and we will get to you. Please have some patience. The Public Works number is 218-748-7515. That's 218-748-7515, and you can call them anywhere Monday through Friday between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. And if you have any other questions, you certainly can reach out to us. Give us a call at 218-748-7500. That's a general line. Our city administrator has been overwhelmed with calls, and so is our staff. But we will do whatever we can to help you mitigate and recover from this devastating storm. Once again, if we haven't got to your neighborhood, we will. There are a lot of items to be picked up through town. If you have an appliance, there are scrappers, for the lack of a better term, driving around town in pickup trucks and trailers and picking up the stoves and the refrigerators and all the appliances. That we're fine with that, because then we don't have to haul it away. They'll haul it away for scrap or whatever they want to do. But we ask that if you have a freezer or a refrigerator that is damaged and that you put it along your curbside on the curb, we'll pick those up too. But we ask that if you have the capability of doing so, please remove the tops, the doors, and the top of the lids, so not to make it a dangerous situation for kids playing around trying to climb in there. So some of these freezers are self-closing, and then they can't open them up from the inside. So we ask you please to take the doors off. That would be very helpful to us. And if we pick up your debris and we leave your appliance, just don't worry, we'll be back to pick up the appliance. But we'll get to you. Again, after the end of the day tomorrow, the regular crews won't be out, but if they haven't picked up your debris, you can, again, call City Public Works Department at 218-748-7515. And the United Way of Northeast Minnesota has available assistance for those affected by the flooding. There's some financial assistance available for local veterans. Okay, it's United for Veterans Crisis Fund application, and it's www.unitedwaynemn, that's Northeast Minnesota, www.unitedwaynemn.org/United-Veterans. www.unitedwaynemn.org/United-Veterans. Home essentials are available with referrals through the comforts of home. Individuals can be referred to the program by agencies they already are working with on the flood recovery, like the American Red Cross or St. Louis County. Those entities have access to a referral form. So you can either talk to the Red Cross or go to St. Louis County, because the St. Louis County Emergency Management System is in place. It's established all the way through St. Louis County, based in Duluth. That's where the rescue squad operates out of, north and south. And the emergency management director for St. Louis County, Dewey Johnson, will and his team will be helping you out in that regard. So St. Louis County American Red Cross, they have access to the referral form, so you can be referred to any programs or agencies to help you with some home essentials that may be available to you. And we urge those who are vulnerable adults, those who don't have other means of assistance, to please take advantage of this opportunity to do so. And if you forget about it, can't write it down, you give us a call at 218-748-7500. We will answer any questions you have. You can also contact any one of our city councilors or myself, the mayor. We're all open to try to answer any questions you have. If we don't have the answer, we'll find it for you. So we thank you for your patience and your understanding. This is a very difficult time. I know you're working with we know that you're working with your insurance companies, and we know that it depends upon what kind of coverage you have, whether that's going to be covered or not. But please be patient as we move through this process, and hopefully we'll get to the part where individual residents will be able to apply to FEMA for relief. So we're not there yet. There's a lot of red tape. We've done our part. We've submitted our forms. That's why important. If you haven't filled out the forms on our website, please do so, because we submit those to St. Louis County, and we just need that raw number. We're not going to hold you to the number. If you feel it's $10,000 and it turns out to be more, when FEMA program starts and you'll be able to apply for it, there'll be directions on how you apply for that, what kind of assistance you'll get, and then talk about how you keep your receipts for reimbursement and all those kind of things. So that comes later on down the road, but just rest assured that we're applying for that, and we hope that we'll have that available to sooner than later. But we thank our staff for that, and all our personnel on the ground. We're out there 24/7, and to just alleviate some of the misinformation that's out there. No, our lift stations did not fail. All our lift stations operated into its maximum capacity. We had staff monitoring these lift stations to ensure that there wasn't a problem. During the areas where there's construction, the construction team, the management team, or the construction company is required to have a backup plan in the event that during their construction period, the lift station fails in some regard. In this particular case, it did not. The staff took the steps that are out of the norm to open up the wastewater treatment plant, bypass some of the filtration systems in order to dissipate the water as quickly as possible, and the sewage as well. And so we did what we could do based upon the structure, the infrastructure that we have, and we apologize to the citizens of Virginia for having to be exposed to this. There are counselors on this, on the elected body, and myself as well. I have the same problem. We had water in our basement, sewage in our basement, and we know how devastating it was for all of you. So please take advantage of this assistance moving forward. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to give us a call at 218-748-7500. There's a lot more information to be disseminated. That's forthcoming through our staff and through St. Louis County. So any other counselors have any questions, comments they'd like to make before we move on to the regular agenda? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move to item 4, the public forum. This is an opportunity for somebody from the audience to speak before the council today. Is there somebody in the audience who would like to address the council? Please come forward at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the City of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of 5.1A, the regular meeting that was held on June 11th, 2024, and 5.1B, the emergency meeting that was held on June 20th, 2024. Item 5.2, adoption of finance resolution number 24-012, the schedule of bills. Item 5.3 is approve pay estimate number 2 for the Silver Lake Trail Phase 2B, Minnesota Boardwalks, in the amount of $299,567.63. This is part of that grant program through LCCMR. Item 5.4 is approve the transient merchant license for Taylor Paul Peden, doing business as Country Fresh Farms. Item 5.5, approve the one-day transient merchant license for Melissa Rabas, doing business as Sugarlicious LLC for June 27th, 2024. Item 5.6, approve the transient merchant license for Michael McMullen, doing business as the Hale Company, contingent upon submitting all the required paperwork to our city clerk. And finally, item 5.7, approve the solicitor's license for Przemysław Kowalik, doing business as Southwestern Advantage. These are the consent agenda items before the council. Looking for council action.
I'll move the approval of the consent agenda.
Councilor Freely moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Tuvia. I'll pick Councilor Beyondich this time. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, appearances. There is no one scheduled to appear before the council this evening. So move on to item 7. Item 7.1, the clinic lease. Has Mr. Lindsay disseminated any other information about any movement or other communications with Essentia Health on the clinic lease?
Currently, Mr. Lindsay's still on vacation, but I do know he did tell me that he just continues to have the discussions with Frank Modich, but he didn't give me anything specific.
Okay, thank you. The clock is ticking, but we're moving forward. Any councilor have a question about this process? Okay, thank you. I'll move on to item number 8, discussion items. Item 8.1 is adopt the resolutions for the final payment estimate number 4 for the Silver Lake Trail Phase 2 to Basama Bituminous in the amount of $60,379.18.
Move to approve.
Councilor Paulson moves to approve. Is there support?
Support for discussion.
Support by Councilor Motley for discussion. Further discussion, Councilor Motley.
Just for the public's edification, where's this money coming from? Sherry?
Mayor?
Well, let Sherry answer. I think it's part of the grant. Sherry?
Yes, sir. It's part of the grant.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2, approve the second reading of City Ordinance Chapter 11, amending the land use regulation by creating Section 11.61 entitled Moratorium on the Issuance of Cannabis Sale, Production, Cultivation, and Processing Licenses within the City of Virginia. This is the second reading. This is a moratorium.
I'll move the moratorium.
Thank you. Councilor Paulson moves to approve the second reading of the ordinance, and then is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Motley. Is further discussion? Just to clarify, once if this is approved, then upon approval of the second reading, it takes effect 15 days. Is that correct? After publication. They'll publicize it in 15 days after it will take effect. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, move to item 9, committee reports. The committee of the whole meeting that was held on June 18th, 2024. And we'll turn this portion of our city council meeting over to our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
Thank you. On June 18th, at the Committee of the Whole meeting, Mr. Matt Reed, our engineer of record from SCH, updated the council on the bids that were received for the 18th Street North Culvert, which is the road that goes into the golf course from Highway 53. After further discussion, a motion was made to award the bid to Utility Systems of America. However, the motion was failed because of lack of support. The vote was 4-3, so it did not pass. Further in the meeting, we did have a motion to allow city staff to install signage in the area of 18th Street North and Highway 53 to notify drivers of the potential hazard of the culverts that are raised.
Council?
I'll move the approval of, I think they've already installed that signage as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And
Moved by Councilor Freely. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support will go this time by Councilor Paulson. Further discussion. I see signage has already been posted there, and some additional updated information will come at the end of the meeting here today. So thank you. It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Reed discussed the proposed streets that were eligible for a mill overlay in 2025. These would be streets that do not have any infrastructure replacements slated for the next 10 years. After some discussion, it was moved and supported to approve the proposed mill and overlay project for 2025 and to allow staff to continue to work on obtaining cost estimates.
So moved.
A move to approve by Counselor Freely. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the request from Revive Virginia and W.A. Fisher to hold a business after hours event in the 100 block of Chestnut Street on June 26, 2024, with the 100 block of Chestnut closed from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the event that runs from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Moved. Moved to approve by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the resolution to accept the gift of real property, which is 40 acres of parcel, property ID 580-0010-04850 for the promotion of recreational activities as the ATV trail lies on that portion of property.
Thank you.
So moved.
Counselor Motley moves to approve and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Freely.
Are there property taxes that we will incur the cost of, or will those be assumed by the recreational organizations?
There would not be taxes.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the final draft of the lease for the golf course restaurant to Krachowski Inc., doing business as the Copper Nickel.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley and supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? So far, so good. It's been very busy and they've been very well received. So moved and supported. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to seek the request for proposals for cleaning services for city buildings and with the note on the RFPs, which are in your packet, that the information is being collected in accordance with the collective bargaining unit of AFSCME.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move.
Move to approve by Counselor Paulson. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Motley. Is there further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the request for proposals for operation of a concession service at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Motley. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Paulson.
Aye.
Beyondich.
Aye.
Johnson. Aaronzelli. Huffy.
Aye.
Motley.
Yes.
Friedlieb.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Eric Jonason, our Deputy Fire Chief, was present to discuss with the council a draft of a policy for the EMS and fire rescue standby, as requested from the City Council. It was moved and supported to approve the proposed EMS and fire rescue department standby policy.
So moved.
Move to approve by Counselor Johnson, supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the resolution for the EMS and fire rescue standby policy billing rates.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson, supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We held a discussion regarding the financial reports for May 2024. We did have a motion to set a meeting date on the third Monday of the month at 7 a.m., which would be prior to the second committee of the whole meeting to go over the financial reports with the council.
Moved by Counselor Beyondich. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Motley. Has further discussion. Counselor Beyondich.
And I would like to thank the staff that is willing to meet at 7 a.m. to go over this, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Councilor Johnson.
Mayor, just as a technicality, there will occasionally be meetings where it'll need to be on the second Tuesday due to the first falling on Tuesday, or the second Monday because of how it falls. Just make sure everybody's aware of that.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We had received a change order from Kraus Anderson for the demolition project at the Public Safety Center site. It was a change order for a negative, which was a good one. It was moved and supported to approve change order number 3 for the Public Safety Center house demolition project in the reduction amount of $692,892.10.
Okay, thank you. Happily moved by Councilor Freely. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And just another point of interest on the Public Safety Center, I actually got a call from the architect today. They found another line item that they were going to remove, so we should see another reduction in the budget coming soon also.
We look forward to that as well.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was a good phone call. It was very, very good. Thank you. Nothing else further from the meeting.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No other items? Okay, thank you. I'll move to item 10, Commission Liaison Reports. Is there any counselor that has the Commission Liaison Report they'd like to give? We'll start right to left. First, Counselor Johnson, and then over to Counselor Motley. Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Human Rights Commission had a present at the Juneteenth celebration on Chestnut Street. It was a perfect day after all the rain and everything. It was very well attended. We had folks from Hibbing, Chisholm, at the other end of the range, Aurora, White Lakes. It was a great show of love and acceptance in our community, honoring Juneteenth honors when the last slave was officially freed 2 years after the Declaration of Independence. So really proud to be a part of that. And then also the Human Rights Commission is currently seeking a couple more members to help steer the direction of the organization going forward, of which will include Iron Pride in the Park, which the Human Rights Commission will be helping out with as much as possible August 10th at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Any other Commission Liaison Reports? Counselor Motley.
So I attended the Public Utilities meeting yesterday, and overall, just listening to them, it sounded like Public Utilities fared very well. There was a few trees down during the first 2 windstorms that we had, but they felt like they had power back on relatively pretty quick. And they also were very thankful and made it known that they did not lose power during the big storm. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. Any other Commission Liaison Reports to report from the elected body? Okay, none. We'll go to item number 11, which are the department head reports. Is there any department head present that'd like to give a report? Welcome. Please state your name for the record for the general public, Bree, and welcome to the City Council meeting.
Brianna Coughlin for the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. Here in lieu of Mr. Brian Silver, I will not be as bombastic as him, but I'm going to try to relay what is going on in the parks and at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center. Music in the Park is going on right now with Preston Gunderson, a local favorite, with many food trucks. Next week is Vitamin Brown. Of course, we have fireworks and the usual fantastic Virginia display for the 4th of July next week. So we're all really excited about that. The Iron Trail Motors Event Center this week is incredibly busy. So Thursday we have a yellow ribbon ceremony for the U.S. Steel proclamation ceremony, they're calling it. So very important. A lot of people, possibly the governor, we're crossing fingers. A lot of people there, the Air Force, a lot of Minnesota politicians of every flavor. So that's going to be exciting. And then right after that, we have Range Fan Con. That's all weekend. It is a huge event taking up the entire building. So our amazing staff really needs a round of applause. Set up, tear down, clean up, set up, tear down, clean up is going to be their motto for the next 5 days. And then we roll into next week, which is another busy week. So that's really all that Brian has instructed me to report.
Thank you, Bree.
Yeah.
Any questions for Bree? Thank you very much. Look forward to that. Okay. Any other department heads reports to be given? None. We'll move to item 12, council reports. Does any councilor like to give a report this evening? Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you. Not so much a report, but as you read at the beginning of the meeting on how people can reach out to the city and other places for help, I just want to remind folks that there are people that don't have means for a computer. They're afraid to call. So if you know of anybody that needs help from the public, please reach out, help them, make the phone call for them, so that everything is documented and turned in. I spoke with Britt before the meeting. I have a gentleman that doesn't have the means to fill out the paperwork. So I asked if it was okay if I was able to turn that in. So I'll be touching base with him and getting the information. So for all of the people out there that don't have somebody and they're not able to do this reporting on their own, please help them out so we can get everything reported that we can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Beyondich. Very good. Yes, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Councilor Johnson.
Mayor, at last Tuesday's meeting, a lot of questions were asked of the ITMEC staff and why things weren't going the way they were. And I just want to let the public know that Bree did send us a very lengthy email explaining that we know we do not have the ability to collect monthly payments for the gym memberships, that much of our billing when it comes to the dashboards and stuff happens in July, and a bunch of other things. And that email is public record. There was nothing confidential in it, so folks that may feel that those questions did not get answered can either request a copy of that email or can call Bree directly and get that information. She could forward the email to you immediately. I just wanted to bring that up because it was quite a bit of time that we spent going over those financials last Tuesday, and the answers were provided to us in great detail, and it made sense why some of the stuff isn't happening the way it is. And again, it goes back to the accrual accounting that we do, and we don't put stuff on our financials until it happens. We don't put that in the beginning of the year and just say, well, it's going to show up. It goes out after the billing's done. So I wanted to point that out as well. And then also on a personal note, it is Pride Month, International Pride Month. I mentioned this at the beginning of the month, but I also want to just do a little background as to why Pride is in June and what happened. And I am at the Library of Congress website, guides.loc.gov. And in June 28th of 1969, the beginning of a Stonewall Uprising occurred in which members of the queer community protested for 6 days after being targeted and singly called out for who they were. It was pretty traumatic, but it was the sense of a rebellion to show that everybody is equal, everybody should be loved, everybody should be accepted. There have been numerous Pride events around the state and around the country. We do ours in August here locally as a way of separating ourselves out, but also to let the folks in the community know that no matter who you are, what you do, what you believe, you are welcome, and our community is amazingly strong when it comes to supporting folks. We have found that a majority of the things that people don't understand is because they've never asked a question or attended an event. I am happy to have that discussion with anybody who has questions, and I really look forward to our local event. It's grown every year we've had it. I think this is our 5th year, possibly 4th year, I don't even remember. And to say that the number of people who come and feel welcome, it's life-changing for people, that they know that they are a part of a community that cares about them. I know for a fact we saved at least 2 young lives last year by holding this event. So it's something I'm very proud of and will continue to talk about throughout the year. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Councilor Motley.
I really don't have a report. It's more of a thank you. So I'm an X-ray tech for a living and deal with a lot of patients. And over the last week and everything of our latest big storm, I've had numerous patients, just when I've been nosy, compliment the City of Virginia staff, and very thankful for them going around and taking out a lot of the sewer garbage and spoils from the flood. And so I personally want to thank city staff for all they do, and my patients are very thankful for you also. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Well said. Thank you, Councilor Motley. Anyone else? Okay, I have a couple announcements I'd like to make. First of all, I'm sad to report of the passing of one of our former city engineers, city employees, Laurentian Energy Authority representative, longtime department head and with the city, Terry Leone, passed away, and his funeral was today at the St. Joseph Church in Gilbert. So just want to just mention the fact that Terry Worth was a longtime employee here, and his passing is, needs to be acknowledged. He did a lot of work for the city moving forward. So Britt asked me to convey that to everybody, and so on behalf of the City Council, all of us and the staff, and those who knew Mr. Leone, our thoughts and prayers are with your family today. So thank you. Three more announcements. First of all, we have we had a garage fire in the 200 block of 5th Street South today. 2 garages were on fire. It's still under investigation. No injuries are reported, and everything is back to normal. So if those who are wondering what the fire engines and the ambulance are doing there was a garage fire that engulfed 2 garages, and it was contained before it spread to other primary residences. So good job by our fire crew. Full-time fire department response there would have, if we didn't have that, that would have spread to other homes as well. So thanks. Shout out to our professional crew there at Fire EMS. Well, here's some good news. We just talked, we don't have very much of that this last week or so. So we talked about not approving some funding for the mill for fixing of the culvert because it was very expensive. We're looking for other avenues in which to do that. Working hard with the state of Minnesota and our engineering department, and thanks to Britt and our SCH engineering in concert with the Department of Transportation. They've, I don't know if they modified it, but they have reported that they're going to do a summary of work starting July the 8th, ending in September of this year, and they're going to do some resurfacing, the culvert repairs on the 18th Street in conjunction with the City of Virginia, and possible accessibility improvements at the Wayside Rest Stop at the Forest Service Department. So the location will start on Highway 53 in Virginia, about a quarter of a mile west of 2nd Avenue, and that work will go all the way to a 1/10 of a mile north of the Wayside Rest. They also do some 3 ramp improvements at 169 intersections and 4 ramps at the 169 West intersection, so east and west. So there's going to be a lot of work done but included in that would be the culvert repairs to help us alleviate that big major problem we had. So that's good news. Thanks for the Department of Transportation. Thank you, Britt, and for SCH for working closely with them to get that accomplished. As we earlier approved, the Business After Hours Summer Block Party is sponsored by Revive Virginia and W.A. Fisher. It's Wednesday, tomorrow, June 26, 2024, in the 100 block of Chestnut Street. Everybody is welcome. That's from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be food trucks. Free entry, doesn't cost anything. Register for door prizes right in front of W.A. Fisher at 123 Chestnut Street. So these summer block parties have begun. Had them on 3rd Avenue at the Sugar Shack and others. And we had the Juneteenth celebration. And now we have the summer block party, and we hope there'll be any more to come on Chestnut Street and the rest of the city park areas in Virginia. So Wednesday, June 26th, that's tomorrow. Snooze you lose, so we better get over there tomorrow. So it's a free event and celebrate our summer. And thank you to W. Fisher and Revive Virginia for sponsoring this event. And then the red, white, and blue, excuse me, it's not correct. The red, white, and boom celebration is July 4th, 2024 in the Alcott Park in Virginia. There'll be live music. That's July 4th, 6 p.m. Toby Inforzato will be the music performed. There'll be food trucks, free admission. Bring a chair or a blanket. It's a family-friendly environment. 7 p.m. the city band will be performing in the bandstand. The honor guard will be there as well. They'll do the traditional national salute to the military and other really great marching tunes. It's a phenomenal event. The city band does outstanding work, and we're happy to fund them and have them. We're very fortunate to have them in the city of Virginia. And then enjoy smooth sounds at 8 p.m. from the Iron Range Funk Machine. I don't know who that is, but they're supposed to be pretty darn good. So the Iron Range Funk Machine. And then at 10:15 to culminate the event, the fireworks will be on the shores of Silver Lake. So that's July 4th, beginning at 6 p.m. So if you're in town, don't miss it. So thank you everyone for that. Before we adjourn the council meeting, does anybody have any other items to come before the council? Okay, seeing none, thank you everybody for attending the council meeting tonight. We will stand adjourned to our next council meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers. So on behalf of the city staff and the council and all of us, thank you for your patience in this very difficult time for all of us. Let's work together as a community to keep this a great place to live and work. We'll work hard to help you recover. God bless all of you. Thank you very much. We stand adjourned. The time is, I don't know. The time is 6:16 p.m. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.